Test, 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 test. The end of the day at the Silverstone Classic.
Festival.
God. That's how ruined my brain is. Well, the London Classic Car Show. It still took me time.
Wet or dry race?
Dry race.
Day or night race?
Night race.
Endurance or short?
Oh, endurance.
Formula 1 or Formula E?
Formula 1.
White bread or brown?
Brown.
Favourite F1 team?
Not allowed to have one.
Are you not?
No.
Not even historic?
Oh yeah, Tyrrell.
Favourite F1 race?
Problematic. Silverstone.
Favourite non-F1 race?
The Nürburgring 24 Hours.
Ooh, good choice. Brown sauce or tomato sauce?
Tomato sauce.
It's a good choice. What's your favourite car you've ever driven?
Oh, no, come on. Lola T70 Mark III.
What's the car you would like to drive?
Porsche 917.
Nice. Who's going to win the F1 championship?
Not allowed to speculate.
Not allowed to speculate. Okay.
Left him, I should think.
Yes. As we are at the London Classic Car Show, which car have you seen here that you would like to take home?
Well, it's a 917 again, but I'd also like the FIA Corvette, which is parked right next to it. I also wouldn't mind the Lamborghini Miura, which is parked just down from that.
F1 or F2?
F1.
Pasta or pizza?
Pizza.
Racing series you'd like to drive in?
NASCAR.
Do you think the advent of sustainable fuels will see Formula 1 move back to more exciting engines? Sort of something a bit more sonorous?
I certainly hope so. It would be cool if we could justify that from an environmental perspective.
I don't suppose I can ask you for opinions on sprint races.
I think sprint races are broadly helpful for Formula 1, and it's good to give the audience realistically an extra day of action by shuffling the event forward. I like the idea that everybody who comes to a Formula 1 race gets to see a session. Every day of a Formula 1 race gets to see a session which either forms a grid for or dishes out points.
Obviously, we can't ask you which circuits you feel don't need to be on the calendar, but which circuits do you feel ought to be on the calendar?
I loved Manicourt. I think Manicourt is a great track. I would love it if they could run Formula 1 cars at Brands Hatch. I've seen a Formula 1 car run at Le Mans. I think a sprint support race for Le Mans. Well, there would be some discussion about who was supporting who, but a sprint joint double header with Le Mans would be an exciting event.
Was it Alpine that ran the A521 last year? It was incredible. Sort of going down a sort of similar line of theoreticals, where do you see your racing career going?
Further into the world of GT racing, but realistically I see my racing career going wherever I have an opportunity to drive as a professional. I don't hold the joystick on that one. The opportunity is my master.
Obviously, motivation only gets you so far. What keeps you kind of going every day when times are tough?
An expectation of myself and a refusal to fail. And you've got to do something, right?
Yes.
You've got to do something. And so I'm always buoyed by the fact and motivated by the fact that broadly when I'm working really hard at things, I recognise that if I wasn't working really hard at those things, the concept of not working that hard would probably involve most of the same actions I consider to be working really hard anyway. So whether it was for fun or for work, I'd broadly do the same stuff.
What's been your best racing moment? So something you've done out on track that always sits in your mind?
Standing on the podium at the 24 Hours of Le Mans is pretty special. But literally on track, there have been several overtaking moves I've made where I've taken the lead of the Le Mans 24-hour race in my class. which is special. That is something. That is there's the term racing drivers use, which involves an expletive beginning with the letter S and then runs into two words. I'm winning. X space. I'm winning.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest S I'm winning I've ever had has been at the Le Mans 24 Hours.
Yeah. If you could race in any period, take a time machine, go back in time, pick any racing series, any time period, where are you going and which series?
I would race in the World Sports Car Championship, and in the period between 1969 and 1976. So the end of kind of GT melded with, the end of the GT40 era into the beginning of, what I would consider the Steve McQueen era of Le Mans, running all the way through to the beginning of kind of, DFV Thundersports Le Mans, the way that I would see it, or almost, Alain de Cadenet Le Mans with the open top cars.
What draws you to NASCAR? You said that would be the one you'd like to try.
Culturally, I love American racing. I just think that the way they go about motorsport is fantastic. It's the reason I love IMSA, and the reason I love it culturally is because they don't make any concessions to the driver. It's you and your engineer and your car against the track. They don't flatten the track. They don't open the track. They don't, smooth the track unless it's literally, okay, albeit that the circuit's an oval, they race on road courses, which is where I'm actually really attracted to racing NASCARs. I like more power than grip. I like, my ultimate, the race I'd really love to try there is the Watkins Glen road course NASCAR race. More power than grip, proper racetrack, no concessions to the driver. Go for it, boys. Let's find out who can race a car, and if you touch each other a bit, nobody's that bothered.
Yeah. Down a similar line, Ricky Bobby or Days of Thunder?
Ooh. Ricky Bobby.
Shake and bake, baby.
Purely because if you're going to make an inaccurate movie about racing, you might as well make it funny.
Yeah, it takes the inaccuracies of Fast and Furious and makes it incredibly entertaining. How soon do you think it'll be before we see a female driver in F1, be that a practice session or actually running in race?
I think it'll be sooner than you think. I think that did Susie Wolff get a run?
She did FP1s, I want to say back in 2014.
Yes,
with Williams.
So she's had a run, but in race conditions, F1 have brought out this new academy series. It's a little younger. I think the girl who'll drive a Formula One car is probably in a go-kart now. I would like to think. I mean, I was at Wilton Mill, which is a kart track in the UK for your global listeners, viewers, a few weeks back, just tuning myself in on a Rotax go-kart, and I would say a solid 40% of the participants at that kart track were female, which I think is great for the sport.
Yeah.
What do you think's stopping women from getting into Formula One sort of quicker, if you're saying that it's going to, those that are in Formula One are in go-karts at the minute? What do you think is sort of stopping that sort of?
My view has always been that you've got hundreds of thousands of young men who start trying to become racing drivers, and they're whittled down to, obviously there's the big wide world of racing, we have female drivers all over motorsport, but it's trying to become Formula One drivers, and then to be horribly reductive, conceptually, they are whittled down to 20 drivers who get to drive Formula One cars. So if you apply the same ratio to the number of women who have formally started, the number is 0, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or it's less than 1
Yeah.
in any case. So actually, I think there's been a big element of you've got to see it to be it, and women, for whatever reason, had not been starting as drivers, or it must be said, which is another thing which is changing, as engineers or mechanics, or they felt that those careers were not for them for whatever reason. I think our duty as a sport is twofold. I think firstly it means we have to make sure that those young women can see that they can be, and if we've done that, then we've done our job. And secondly, we need to provide the opportunity for all young people, free from any kind of discussion of what their background is, gender is, have the opportunity to come racing in whatever guise they see fit. If then, a certain woman or women or any specific individual is still not interested in racing, then they're not interested in racing, and that's also fine. You know what I mean? And I think we have to accept that. But I do think if we put women at the forefront, as I think is happening, I'm buoyed by that. Then more women will be interested in our sport.